Hello everybody, welcome back. I hope you guys are having a beautiful and amazing day. Today we are going to be doing Let's Code a Clue-like Game Part 2. Now today I'm going to be doing an overview of the flow of the program and how the assignment should be going in from function to function, and then I'll kind of cover a couple of little more difficult functions that you guys might have trouble with. So getting started, I kind of have a layout right here of how I went and approached this program. First, I went into the main, and then in my main, I called display game menu. And after you display the game menu, the user's either going to select a G or a C, or no, a G or a Q, right? And then if they select G, then you're probably going to load the game data and set it all up and then, start playing the game. If not, we'll just quit. So I'm pretty sure most of you guys have gotten up to this point. So just a quick refresher from our last video. Once you do select G, you're going to want to load the game data, open that game setup file, parse the file, and in each file we have in each file we have this great piece of data right here where we have a professor, a topic, and a room. So, and they're all delimited by commas up until this last one. So you guys already have multiple tactics underneath your belt on how to parse these files. If not, you can always look up on Google how to parse a string. Or parse a data file. But moving on, after you load the game data and set all 5 tokens, rooms, and topics into your 3 arrays, we're probably going to call the game setup file. So in our game setup file, we're just going to prompt for the number of players. So we're going to be like, hey, how many players are going to be playing? And after we do this, we're probably going to want to ask each player which token they want to use, right? So we have a 2D array, and in the last video I covered on how to store these tokens into our 2D array, and we're going to loop this for each player. We're going to display the tokens for each player, and they're going to select their token, right? After we're done looping for each player, we're going to do get solution. And what get solution does is essentially it's going to call the get random function and store those random numbers into our solution array. So let's look over here real quick. If we do something like the random function %5, we're gonna get characters or values between 1 through 4. And we need values between 1 through 4, or not 1 through 4, 0 through 4, because we want to be able to get, we want to be able to access the information that we stored in our tokens, because or our 3 arrays, right? So if we have 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, and then oops, let's add another one, 5, they're gonna have indices 0 through 4. And so this might be Jorgensen, Francesca, Andrew Vasco, I think it was Martin and Rafalski or something like that. We want to get one of these values to store in our solution array, because our solution array essentially is going to only be an index of 3. So it's going to be 0 1 2, yeah, 0 1 2, which is 1 2 3. And in our first index, it's going to hold a token. Yeah, in our first index, it's going to hold a token. So here's going to be a token. Here's going to be a, I believe it's either a room or a topic. Room. I think it's the room. And then this is going to be a topic. And let me actually refer back to the PDF just so you guys have the right information. So solutions. Yeah, so right here it tells you. So solution 0 is going to be a token, solution 1 is going to be a room, and then solution 2 is going to be a topic. So this is exactly what we're doing. In the last video I kind of showed you guys how we're not storing the actual data, we're storing the position of where that data is in our other arrays. So for example, if rand%5 generates the value of, I don't know, let's say 2, and 2 is here, oops, 2 is here, we know that 2 is going to point to Andrew Vasco, and that's what we're going to use for our other arrays too, because these are going to show us what room the solution is in and what topic the solution is in based on our other arrays. And the way we keep track of which tokens are being used or not is in a Boolean array, which 3 Boolean arrays, which I'm going to explain a little bit later. So let's actually keep going with our little document here. After we get the solution that we have or that we want, we're going to give out clues to each player. So this is where we're going to use the Boolean array. For this one, you're also going to need 3 integers to store the specific index that it will be located in your string arrays. So for these, what we're going to want to do is do something like this. The idea of how this program works is going to be like, so this is going to be our actually let me use a rectangle. This is going to be our Boolean array, right? And this is going to be our string array. And let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 5, right? One of these indices are already stored, and let's say this is going to be our, I don't know, let's say this is our, this is going to be our room array. And then this is the bool room array. So, oh, and this is a string one, the one that we took from the file, right? Okay. So this is like 135, this is 202, this is 302, this is 218, 219. What we're gonna want to do here is we're gonna want to compare this to our solution array, because we know that in solutions 2, I believe solutions 1, that's holding the index of our solutions 1's holding the index of our room that is part of the solution, right? So like let's say solutions 1 is equal to 2. So the solution will have 302, right? We want to make sure that in our bool room that is true, because that means this index is being occupied. We know that this is a solution and this is being occupied. So while this is true, and let's say we use the get random function, get random, right? So that's going to give us a number between 0 through 4. If that number is 2, that get random gets us a number 2, it's going to look at this index and it's going to be like, oh wait, we actually can't distribute this room number as a clue, or not a clue, it's as an item. Yeah, as an item for like the guess for the player, because it's already being occupied, right? So like let's say player 1 gets like a random clue or whatever, and they get 219. So then we're gonna set this one to true, and then when player 2, we're gonna set this one to true, and this is all happening in a loop, right? So like game setup is gonna loop, give out clues, player amount of times. So this isn't all happening inside our our get random item. Get random item is just seeing how many times. It's just trying to give us a distribute the clues based on if the clue is taken or not. So this one we'd probably want to use like a while loop. Uh, while the like track rooms is not equal to true or something. We want to keep calling get random. And we'll probably do something like yeah, we'll want to call get random and kind of check to see if this Boolean room array has a true or false in it. So we'll probably do like use like some pseudocode. So int item is equal to get random, right? And then we're gonna do while track rooms item is not equal to true. We're probably gonna want to do get random, yeah, item equals get random. Because what this is gonna do is gonna keep resetting item to a new number between 0 and 4. And then if that number is if that index in this array is true, wait, yeah, well, wait. Yeah, if that number is true, wait, well, equal to true actually. This is actually gonna be equal to true because if it's true, then that means it's taken, and we kind of don't want to, you know, return an index that's taken because that means like there's gonna be like collision, if that makes sense. So if item gives me an index where track rooms is false, then we're gonna exit out this while loop and return that index, which is just item, right? Because back in our give out clues array or give out clues function, we have something called rooms is equal to what's the function called? Give out clues, right? So then clues will be equal to the index that we're on. Clues, oh wait, or that variable room that we made is going to be equal to the index where there's no item being taken. So then, like, let's say get random gives us the value of 0. It sees that 0 is false. So then what it's probably going to do is after it leaves this while loop right here, it'll probably set this specific index to true because, you know, this is a clue that we're distributing, and then return the item. So that's the idea for that function, and it's gonna be, you're gonna be doing that for each token, room, and topic. But the function, think of a function as it's doing the same thing because you're doing the same thing for each array, right? So if it's doing the same thing, you can just call it again for each one, just passing in different parameters. And then we're gonna write these guesses to the file. And the formatting is found in the PDF for that. So if we look at the PDF, yada 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 yada. Okay, let's see. It's somewhere in here. Somewhere in here. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not in here. Huh. It's okay. I'm pretty sure it's somewhere in here. No. Oh, wait. Hold up. I saw it. It's like this. So this is gonna be the guesses for that player, and then this is the guess. This is like the first, whatchamacallit, the first guesses that we're distributing to the player, and then these are like the next guesses that they choose. Okay, and then moving on. Now, once we do all this stuff, we can go and play the game, right? So we need two loops. We need an outer loop that like keeps looping until there's a winner or until like we don't want to play anymore, and then we need an inner loop to do each turn. So the outer loop we can probably use like a while loop just to keep track if someone has won or not. And then the inner loop, yeah, you can use a while or do while loop, and then the inner loop we'll probably want to use like a for loop because it'll go through each player, right? And for each player we're going to display the menu, and in this menu we can either do D to display the file, which we saw here. Yeah, we saw here, yeah, right here. Or we can do a G, which is make a guess, S to display a solution, and E to continue to the next player. So E will end the turn, S is to see the solution and quit. And so those should be pretty straightforward. But let's actually go to the guess solution because I think that one's a little, you guys might need a little more help on, right? So if we're making a guess, right, we're going to call this make guess function that we have. And this one's really cool because it'll help us make guesses for each player. So like let's say I'm player 1 and I want to make a guess. So we're going to pass an array that's the same size as the solution, and this array is going to be an integer array, and it's going to be called I don't know, like guess array or player guess, you know, whatever you guys want to call it. And the idea is the same as the solution array because we have a solution array, right? So right here, this is let's see right here. This is guess array. Let me move that right here. And then this right here is my solution array. Solution. And we know that in each index is the same thing. This is a token, this is a room, and this is a topic in the solution array, so we want to make that assumption for our guess array as well, right? And then once we call that guess array, we need to call guess item on each index. So what that means is like we want to call, let's say we want to call guess item let's say we want to guess a token, right? So guess 0 is equal to guess item. Because we want to and this is a function. Guess item is a function that you guys have in your assignment. So we know that this is a token, and we're gonna in guess item we're probably gonna want to pass the token string that we parsed earlier. We want to pass here. Even we can just look it up and see what we're passing, right? Guess item. We're gonna want to pass the token string, and then the size of the array, which is probably going to be 5, right? Because there's 5 elements in there. But in this guess item, we're going to prompt the user to choose one of the guesses. Oops. So with that being said, let's see how we can do that. So let's say we go into our guess item, right? So let's say guess item. So we're already in our function. Cool. So what we want to do is do a for loop and go through each element of the array. Int I is equal to 0, I is less than the size, I plus plus. And then in this for loop, we're going to want to, you know, we're going to want to prompt the user to guess the item. And there's like formatting in the PDF. So let's go look at that real quick. Game setup, D, display guess. So look right here. This is perfect for reset. Okay, cool. So right here is actually perfect. If we can find it one more time. Okay, here's perfect. This is a perfect solution. So we're gonna prompt them to please enter a choice. Then we're gonna do enter and then instead of 0, it's going to be I because that's holding the index for the token at that index. And that's great because if we go now back into our for loop, we can just do cout, you know, the little quotations for enter, I space for space, and then we can do the passed array. So let's say it's tokens, I, end line. And then, you know, we're going to want to do error checking just in case the user doesn't enter a number between 1 through 4 or 0 through 4 because we're prompting from I equals 0, right? So this is going to start at 0 and it's going to go to 4. And then based on what that user enters, if it's out of the boundaries or if they enter a character, we probably want to do it in like a cin.fail. And then we want to check, you know, if that is less than, if the user guess is less than 0 or if it's above 4, right? Because that's out of the boundaries. And then we'll probably want to do like a cin.clear and be like, hey, you know, you got to enter the right menu selection or menu option, right? And then after we do that, we're probably going to want to return that guess. So after we have a guess for each one of our indices, so guess array 1, guess array 2, we're going to want to compare our guess array to the solution array, right? And if that's right, okay, and if this is true, then hey, you won. Yay, you win. But if not, then you know you're gonna end the turn, else end turn, and then you know let the other player guess. Actually, before you end the turn, you actually want to write the player's guess to the output file. So let's look at compare solution because I think guess item and compare solution to guess. So that's what we're gonna go over right now. So if we are gonna want to compare the solution to the guess, we just want to compare that the numbers in the indices are the same, right? Actually, let's do this. This is 3, 3, this is 0, this is 2. So the way we can do that is, oops. Okay, the way we can do that is actually by going through each index and comparing it one by one. So I is less than size I plus plus, and oops. And what we're gonna want to do in this for loop is we're gonna want to look at each index, right? So and compare them one by one because we know the indexes mean the same thing. Index 0 is just the tokens, index 1 is just the rooms, and then index 2 is just the topics. So we want to say if the guess, okay, so yeah, if the guess and the solution are the same, is what we want to look at, right? Because we're comparing the same indexes. If they're the same, we kind of don't want to do anything, right? Because if they're the same, we're like, okay, cool, let's compare. Like, let's say I is 0 right now. If the token is the same to if the guess token is the same to the solution token, we don't want to do anything. We just want to go to the next array, right? So you could probably do like a continue. Oops. You could probably do like a continue here and just go to the next iteration. But something that would make more sense is if we compare if they're not the same. So if the guess on index I is not the same as the solution on index I, then we're probably gonna want to return false, because that means if a single one of these numbers is off, then that player's guess isn't the solution, so they're wrong. So like if we go one by one, we look at index I is equal to 0, we're comparing 1 and then 1, those are the same, so that's true, so it's good. Then we compare 3, because I increments, which it should be I plus plus. Oops, I plus plus. So 3 and 3, that's good because they are the same. But then we look at, okay, guess I, so this would be guess 2 at this point. Yeah, guess at index 2 is 0, so this is going to be 0. And we know that, oops, I don't know what I'm writing. I was writing like gibberish, but we look at guess at index 2, and then we look at solution at index 2. So that's 0, and this is 2. 0 is not equal to 2. So then it's going to go into this if statement, and it's going to return false, meaning the compare guess the solution was wrong, right? And if that's wrong, then it'll just be the next player's turn and the game will continue as normal. But that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys need any clarifications or need me to go over like some functions more specifically, feel free to DM me and I'll get to them when I can, because I get a couple of DMs here and there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you guys, feel free to leave a thumbs up and a comment and a subscription. I don't know, sub, whatever. But yeah. Um, and then for my next office hours, I'll go over the other assignment 10. So I believe in that one we're going to be talking about vectors, and we'll be doing some cool stuff with that. So I'll catch you guys later. Peace.